Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. Geeky Sparkles sitting this video out. She's having some dental work, some dental issues. We're going to talk about Doctor Who. We're going to talk about David Tennant. We're going to talk about how the mainstream media is finally admitting that this show is in big trouble. It could potentially get canceled, but they're trying to make a case for David Tennant to come back and save it, right? This is a rumor. That part of the reason they had David Tennant's doctor and Ncuti Gatwa's doctor split during the specials was so that they had Tennant as a backup in case Ncuti Gatwa did not work out or that the ratings dropped. And now people are like, okay, they're going to play the Tennant card, bring him back again to try to bring the show back. And I don't think it's going to work because David Tennant has been saying some really stupid political stuff lately. And I don't think the audience is going to embrace him like they did before. In fact, we're going to talk about the BAFTAs, that he actually was making a bunch of Trump jokes and they cut them from the broadcast. There's a whole freaking laundry list of very political things David Tennant has said, over the past couple of years. I mean, he's not the same guy he was in 2007, 2008. Okay. Look, people do change. I get it. But he's starting to head down the Mark Hamill TDS road. And instead of the TARDIS, it's the TDS, the TIDIS. But we're going to talk about this. Got to give a hat tip to our friend Christian Basil over at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS podcast. He actually sent some links over. I missed this whole thing with the BAFTAs. I did know that David Tennant has gotten weirdly political, but this is it, man. It's that David Tennant cannot resuscitate the show. Obviously, Russell T Davies cannot resuscitate the show, especially since they're making a big point of next season having a bunch of activist writers on board. It's over. Disney's not going to bankroll this anymore. I mean, maybe the BBC will pull rabbit out of its ass and they'll bankroll it somehow. Maybe Netflix will bankroll it, but I think they have destroyed this show beyond repair. I don't even know what it would take to fix Doctor Who at this point. I don't know if there is any fixing Doctor Who at this point. I think Doctor Who has become one of those franchises, just like Star Wars, where the damage is so extensive. The termites have eaten into the foundation that the only thing you can do is basically tear the house down and start over again. And I think the only way that you actually could resuscitate Doctor Who is to do a clean start, a reboot, or retcon out the last couple of seasons. Just say, yeah, it didn't happen. It was the Master tricked the Doctor or something. It was a fever dream. Doctor ate some bad mushrooms. I don't know. Come up with some kind of crazy explanation for it. I mean, they've done it before. Right? They did it when the Doctor thought he was half human. I mean, they've done this kind of stuff before, but who knows? Let's talk about the utter state of Doctor Who again. We're only talking about now because there's a lot of speculation that Disney is not going to renew it for a third new season, and that Ncuti Gatwa has apparently already has one foot out the door, right, to save his career. By the way, speaking of Ncuti Gatwa. Speaking of Ncuti Gatwa, his toys are not selling, but who the hell would want these? This is Bobby Spaniel put this up on X. He said he spoke with the manager of Forbidden Planet about Doctor Who, and there's a boatload of these Ncuti Gatwa action figures. I don't know what the hell, paperweights sitting in a bargain bin for £5. And there's many more in the stockroom. I didn't even know they're still making Doctor Who toys because nobody's buying Doctor Who toys. They used to have all kinds of Doctor Who toys at Epcot in the UK Pavilion. My son was really into Doctor Who, Squid King. He was really into Doctor Who when he was little, and we used to buy him the toys, the Lego types. They weren't Lego, but the building block sets and the Matt Smith action figures and stuff like that. And he loved Doctor Who, and he kind of noped out after Capaldi. After Capaldi's first season, I still watched it. I watched it for Capaldi, even though the stories were ass and the companions weren't great. I loved Peter Capaldi so much as the Doctor. And then Whittaker, he actually dipped back in with Whittaker, watched the Rosa Parks episode, and was like, "Yep, I'm out." He's like, "I cannot believe that the Doctor would make Rosa Parks sit in the back of the bus. Like, I am out. I am very much out. So let's talk about this before you do it further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to Substack if you're looking for notifications, because I've had several people complain. Now, I've had some other people say they're getting notifications just fine on YouTube. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. There definitely has been some kind of a shift in the last, I'm going to be honest, there's been a shift since the election. Let's just put it that way. There's been a shift in the algorithm since the election, since the inauguration. But I've had several people complain that they are no longer getting notifications. If you want to get notified when we post new content, go out to clownfishtv.substack.com. You will get an email notification every time we put a new video up, a new podcast up, so you will not miss anything. So thank you very much for that. So let's talk about David Tennant, because everybody's like, oh, David Tennant's going to save Doctor Who. This came from Game Rant just a couple days ago. The Doctor Who is in trouble, and David Tennant can save it. According to Game Rant, Doctor Who's future is uncertain post second season with Ncuti Gatwa. Are they allowed to say that? I thought that was just the alt-right Nazis saying that. Raising concerns about the show's continuation, Gatwa might exit the show, leading to potential replacement speculation with David Tennant being a fan favorite. Tennant's past portrayal remains popular. His return could provide nostalgic appeal and potentially save the show. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. David Tennant gave the show a slight boost when he came back for the specials, and then they destroyed his doctor. The doctor who just got done being a woman gets lectured on pronouns. Apparently he's gay for Sir Isaac Newton, and he just really is a shell of his former self, right? I mean, I love Catherine Tate. I love David Tennant. He is not the same person he was. Like I said, we're going to talk about this because his politics, I'm going to be honest, they're going to come into play. Just like Mark Hamill's politics come into play when it comes to Star Wars. People right now are so damn polarized about everything that if you're out there making a lot of noise about your personal politics and calling people names, calling people Nazis, you're not doing yourself any favors. And a lot of people are so sick of the wokeness and the DI shit that they're not going to watch David Tennant. They didn't watch him before. They're not going to watch him now, right? Let's be honest. So anyway, they're talking about how Gatwa's first season of Doctor Who took place last year, and it led to mixed reactions from fans. Are we allowed to say that? I cannot believe Game Rant is actually saying that. Viewership was down for the show, yes. There were question marks about the topics that the writers attempted to tackle with the series, yes. This has led to concerns about the future of the show after the upcoming second season, which has already been filmed. Reports have claimed that Gatwa is ready to quit Doctor Who. Yeah, the report is Gatwa is quitting Doctor Who because he's trying to save his own ass. He's trying to save his career. He does not want to be associated with the show because it's full of fail. And he doesn't want his own reputation tainted. Even though Gatwa was, again, you want to know part of the reason why people did not watch Doctor Who with Ncuti Gatwa? It's because he told people who didn't like the new direction to go touch grass, right? So the things that you say as a representative of a franchise or a show absolutely correlate to a drop-off in viewership, which we're going to get to David Tennant and how even bringing him back, it could be a disaster at this point because the guy will not shut up about Trump, right? He's just like, he's obsessed. He's turning into Mark Hamill 2.0. They said, yeah, they already filmed an open-ended regeneration scene to make it happen. However, the next Time Lord might not be revealed for a long time. As was noted, the show's future is being considered, and the BBC could opt to put the show on ice for a few years. Yeah, if Disney's not going to bankroll it, I don't know what they're going to do because they lost their USAID money, the BBC. That was like, what was that, like 8% of their budget? We were giving them money to produce TV shows attacking a lot of our citizens. I mean, what the fudge are you doing? So yeah, and they talk about how Gatwa was pumped up to be the guy, and it was going to rejuvenate the series. And it actually dropped it off a cliff. And a lot of that can be attributed, in my opinion, to the dumb shit Ncuti Gatwa said and the dumb shit Russell T Davies said. Well, now we have dumb shit David Tennant is saying. So this is coming from The Independent. So apparently the BBC removed some of David Tennant's jokes about Donald Trump from its BAFTA broadcast. So they're trying to do damage control. They might actually preemptively be censoring David Tennant because they're like, oh my God, dude, if we bring you back as the doctor again, you're cooked. Like nobody's gonna watch you. Like we saw what Shooty did when he told people to go touch grass and called people racist or whatever. You're gonna do irreparable damage to the franchise. Hollywood's brightest stars arrived at the Royal Festival Hall on Sunday, February 16th. Having hosted last year's award show, Tennant returned for a second stint as presenter, opening the ceremony with a big musical number with some famous faces in the crowd, James McAvoy and Selena Gomez. They said notably some of Tennant's material about the U.S. president was left on the cutting room floor. In the live show, as reported by Deadline, the Doctor Who star joked that it was unlikely Trump had seen The Apprentice, in which Sebastian Stan plays a young version of the businessman because it's a 15, the film's UK rating, and it's not on Nickelodeon. They said, Donald Trump, I'm worried. I've said his name 3 times. It's like Beetlejuice. I have summoned him. Donald Trump probably doesn't even know who David Tennant is. I'm going to be honest. I don't think he cares. A BBC spokesperson told The Independent the nature of the show is that it's broadcast with a short delay and edits have to be made due to time constraints. Bullshit. That is the same thing, the same excuse they said with Home Alone 2 when they cut Donald Trump out of Home Alone 2. They kept saying it was because of time constraints. And he was in it for what 30 seconds? I think he was in it for 30 seconds and they cut him out. They're all time constraints. I'm like, there are other scenes you can, I'm just saying, like, they're not even going to own it. I think what they're doing is they're trying to be like, David, we might need you back as the doctor. Shut up. One joke that did make it into the broadcast was about the politician's hair, with Tennant calling it the boldest architecture in film, even more so than the brutalist. He also referred to Trump as a villain, comparing him to Nosferatu, Hugh Grant in Heretic, and most chilling of all, Wallace and Gromit antagonist Feather McGraw, in a moment that seemed to delight Mark Hamill and Kate Winslet. Oh, I'm sure Mark Hamill was thrilled. I'm sure he was. Is this the same award show that his pants fell down? Is that what's going on? Prior to that, the Good Omens star kicked off proceedings with a rambunctious performance of I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles by the Pretenders. David Tennant's been very political lately. I mean, the last couple of years, and it's so weird because Peter Davidson's his father-in-law, and he seems normal. Like Peter Davison seems normal. And he's actually made comments saying that he wasn't really on board. God, he looks so old too, doesn't he? Doesn't he look tired? Doesn't he look tired? That should be the title of the video. But yeah. Peter Davidson's made comments before that he thought that it was kind of a shame the BBC took away a male role model for boys, right? With Doctor Who, turning Doctor Who into a woman. And David Tennant just keeps doubling down on identity politics. He got into it, I guess, with, I'm not going to pretend to understand UK politics, but he got into it over LGBTQ rights and awards. He wished, is it Kemi Badenoch? I don't know. Government minister with controversial views would shut up. So he's telling politicians to shut up. This is coming from Pink News. 9 times BAFTA host David Tennant has proved he's the ultimate LGBTQ plus ally. I know he's gone to bat for trans rights, and look, you're allowed to have your political opinions, right? But he really got into it. Let's see, where was it? He told somebody to shut up. Yeah, he told bigots to fuck off. In May of last year, he was at the Proud Nerd Angels Demon Doctor Convention in Germany. Tennant was asked by a fan about his own relationship to femininity and masculinity. Well, that jacket, that is definitely a relationship to femininity. He launched into a heartfelt speech about how society's view on gender has changed, why it's a good thing. When I was a kid, the idea of being non-binary wasn't something that existed. It wasn't a concept. No, it wasn't. I mean, there were people that you kind of wanted, they didn't really fit into. We'd call them androgynous. That was what we did back in the day. He said, when I was a teenager, I remember gay rights being weaponized politically, but it still is. That always felt ugly and nasty. Now there's a similar weaponization of topics being taken mostly by the right wing or certain sections of society to create friction and conflict and division where it needn't be. It's just about people being themselves. You don't need to be bothered about it. Fuck off and let people be. Now, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. I think if people look, if somebody's not bothering you and you don't agree with them, but they're not bothering you, then don't bother them. The problem is that, again, we've got somebody who's supposed to be probably the face of very tired face, the face of Doctor Who out there now, and potentially the future face of Doctor Who, making all kinds of digs at the right. And, I'm beginning to think the UK overall is starting to go a little more conservative, given everything that's going on over there. It just feels like it's going to go more conservative because people are very tired of being policed over there over language, and tired of being told that they're bigots and racists, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's very interesting that the BBC basically told them to shut up, right? That is interesting. So, there were some other articles. I'm not going to cover everything, but people are like, no, we don't need David Tennant back. No, we don't need romance in Doctor Who. Actually, I agree with that one. Classic Doctor Who had zero romance. It just didn't have romance in it. And that's something that started with Russell T Davies, with Rose. But the show was successful. It was very successful. And, they need to kind of go back to that, but I don't see it happening. Not with the current regime anyway. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think? Is Doctor Who, I think it's deader than dead. I think this is, if this is their Hail Mary pass, they really, really, really have to take a step back and reevaluate things. And I think the best thing that could possibly happen with Doctor Who at this point is just cancel the damn show, wait about 10 years, bring it back with somebody who actually understands Doctor Who and will actually respect the, classic fandom, or just let it go. I mean, it's okay. It's okay to let franchises die and say, hey, they had their time. We don't need to bring it back. We don't need to revisit it. We had several good years of Doctor Who. I mean, in the 60 years of Doctor Who, we had many, many good seasons and many, many good episodes and a lot of good times. You can always revisit those old episodes. But yeah, franchises it's broke, man. And this is not going to save it. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.